Okay everybody, this is Randall from Floribama Homestead, my wife and producer lady, Michelle. We are out here today, we're harvesting our Concord grapes here in the Deep South, and we're going to show you how to make Concord grape jelly with them. Alright, these grapes have been ripe for probably 10 days now, and we just haven't had time to come out with all the rain, the heat, work, everything. But it's Saturday, it's supposed to be 115 degree heat index today, so we decided today is a good day to harvest these grapes, take them inside, and spend the day in the cool air condition making Concord grape jelly. And we want to bring this to you. This is our first time dealing with the Concords, so we're just coming here and harvest our grapes. We're going to take these all inside, and then we're going to attempt to make the Concord grape jelly. Now this Concord grape is called Sunbelt, and I happen to have picked it up at our local Lowe's here. And it is a Concord grape that was rated for the Deep South to deal with our high humidity that we have here. Typically a Concord grape won't grow in this region, but this was bred, I believe it was by the University of Florida, and this is a patented variety, so you can't propagate cuttings to sell. But I tell you, I went down to the Lowe's and I found these, and I think it was like $7 for a vine. I took a chance. I planted one 3 years ago, and last year it made grapes. It wasn't enough to do anything with, but this year I believe that we have enough that we can come around and maybe get a little bit of grape jelly out of it. So we're kind of excited. So we're going to finish harvesting these grapes, and we'll be back with you on the inside and pick up and start making jelly. All right, we're back in the kitchen. We've got our grapes. We've got all the stems off of it, and all the bad ones are picked out. And so now we have a bowl full of grapes. We ended up with just about 3 pounds. Now I used the Sure-Jell recipe, and it's calling for 5 pounds of Concord grapes. So what we're going to do is we're going to half this recipe. We're going to go for 2.5 pounds of grapes, and we're going to do half the sugar, half the water, and half the pectin. And we're just going to do this simple recipe. It looks like there's really nothing to it. If you look at it, the only ingredients is the Concord and the sugar, and then just add the pectin in. So let's go ahead and get started with that. Since we already have all of our grapes measured out that we're going to cook, we're just going to put these in a pan. It does kind of look like cranberries, huh? Never done this before. This is our first time ever using Concord grapes. Let's tell you what, let's add a little bit of water to that. All right, I'm just gonna turn our heat on. We're gonna get some heat going. And we're just gonna start smashing grapes.
Thank goodness we're not barefooted doing it.
Yeah, we're not making wine, but we still have to smash our grapes. This part might actually take a while. Tell you what, sitting here mashing all these grapes, I'm glad we don't have a large amount of jelly to make. That's looking good. Colors are looking good. I think we about got them all mashed. Just as long as we pop the skins so that juice can be released, that's ultimately the goal. Let's go ahead and let that come on up to a boil. We're going to let this boil for about 10 minutes to get those juices released from all the pulp. And then after 10 minutes, we're going to bring you back, and then we'll show you, let you see us finishing up with the boil and straining this off. All right, now we forgot to turn the microphones back on, coming back from that little pause section. So this section will actually be a voiceover. So at this point, we're just using the Sure-Jell low sugar recipe that comes in the box. And the instructions say to mix a 1/4 cup of the sugar into the pectin. And that's just to ensure that the pectin doesn't clot up or ball up whenever you're adding it to your juice. So if you add it in with sugar, you can slowly pour that into your juice without worrying about just getting little pectin balls. So that's all I'm doing here. Just took a fork, poured it in with the pectin, 1/4 cup of sugar, stir it all around. So we're waiting here for the juice to come to a boil. And when it starts coming to a boil, I'm going to add the sugar. The sugar amount for the original recipe is 3.5 cups. We're going to half that here. We're going for 1 3/4 cups of sugar. We added that, brought that up to a boil, and then we start after it comes to a nice boil, we're going to strain it. So we pour it right into our cheesecloth. We're going to let all that juices flow down through the grapes. Give that a minute just to kind of cool off and drip out. Pull all your ends together. And it's actually thundering outside when we're recording this, and Mika hears the thunder in the distance, so she gets real nervous whenever it thunders outside. But we pull a cheesecloth ends together, and we twist the cheesecloth, kind of press all the last little bit of juice out. I was telling Michelle, I was like, we should get our cheese press and put this over in the cheese press and just leave it for a minute to let it pull all those rest of those juices out. That might be something we consider doing in the future though, but I didn't feel like pulling that cheese press out. All right, we got it, everything. Okay, there's our sugar. Now we add the sugar right there instead of before the husk are ready. Pull our hot jars out. We just had them on 250 in the oven just to sterilize the jars. And also got our lids in boiling water, getting those sterilized. Okay, so we got our sugar in there. We're waiting for it to come back to a boil. Yeah, the thunderstorm's moving in. She's getting nervous and shaking. All right, we got that nice boil going on. You're supposed to wait till a boil. Whenever you stir it, the boil doesn't go away. And we're almost there at this point. Once we get there, we're going to reach over and we're going to grab our pectin and just lightly sift in the pectin sugar mixture. That way it doesn't clump up on you. Clump, that's probably the better word that I was looking for earlier. All right, we set our timer once we get it in there for 1 minute. We'll let that boil good for 1 minute, turn it off, and then we use our funnel and start pouring it right into our jars. Recipe calls for 3 pints, and that's where we landed, but we had 1 extra jar just in case. You never know when you're gonna go just a little over. Okay, jelly's all done, and I have to say, I was wondering if it was gonna set or not, but look at that, the jelly's set. So it's not running. Now, we already had some of this on a biscuit, and I tell you what, I asked Michelle what her opinion of it was, and I have to say, I have to agree with her. This is better than any Concord jelly you've ever had. The concentration was so good. It wasn't tart, it wasn't watery, it wasn't too sweet. It was an excellent flavor of a jelly, and I'm excited that I have that vine in the yard. And I'm just looking forward to making this every year. So if you live in the deep south like us, look into the Sunbelt Concord Grape. Get you one. And all I have is one, and we made, you know, a 2-year-old vine has made us 3 pints of jelly. So It's definitely worth the time. It's worth the effort and the investment. Hope you enjoyed the video. Give us a thumbs up, like, subscribe, and share out on your social media if you liked it. Appreciate you watching.